It's Eshani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So I've gotten so many questions on my thoughts on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kits that I figured I'd just come on here and do a quick review video on them. I believe I did already talk about one, if not both, of the original colors that came out in a favorites video a while back, so you guys know that I do love them. But I don't feel like I've really dedicated enough time to these products on my channel yet, so I figured, you know what, they just came out with their new Sun Dipped palette. I will come on here and do swatches and an individual review on all three of these. Now, if you're not familiar with these glow kits, this is what they look like. They are really, really large. I'm just gonna hold them up next to my face so you guys can see how big they are. When I first heard that these were coming out and I saw the promo pictures online, I thought that it was gonna be about like half the size, but this is a big palette. And then it opens up, there's no mirror or anything, but you do get 4 highlight powders. There are so many great things about these palettes. First off, these are only $40, which I know sounds like a lot for a highlighter palette, but if you're breaking it down, that means that each of these pans of product is $10, and these pans are really, really big. You get 7.4 grams of product in each of these pans. All of these pans can be removed out of this palette as well. They're just magnetized in, and you can see there's this little area where you can just stick your finger in and pop them out. So the cool thing is that if you have multiple of these palettes, you can pop out your favorite shades and kind of just incorporate them into one. Now, for those of you guys who aren't total highlighter junkies and you don't really see the purpose in having 4 different highlighters, first off, I don't even know how you found my channel, because I love highlighter and I love lipstick and I love it all, and the more the merrier in my head. But even more than that, one of the greatest things about all 4 of these palettes I'm going to show you is that there is a really great variety of colors. In all of the palettes, you are getting one color that is clearly light, and then you are getting a color, if not a couple colors, that are clearly dark. The great thing about that is that you can mix these because they're so readily available in one palette. You can tap your brush into one, tap your brush into the other, and then swipe it on your face and get a custom color. Even if 1 or 2 of these colors don't look good on your particular skin tone by themselves, maybe you can mix it with any of the other colors and use it in your own way. I definitely think for the most part, all 3 of these palettes are more geared towards light to deep skin tones. I wouldn't say there's really any color in either of these 3 palettes that works for really, really pale complexions. So now let's jump into talking about each of the palettes individually. We will go ahead and start off with the palette I've been holding up throughout the video. This one is called Gleam, and you can see that this one is definitely going to be the more cool toned palette. Here are swatches of all 4 of the highlighters you get in the Gleam palette. From left to right, we have Hard Candy, Mimosa, Starburst, and Crushed Pearl. The first shade, Hard Candy, is a very, very interesting iridescent pinkish color, and I will say that the last 2, Starburst and Crushed Pearl, don't look too different on my skin tone, but if you have a lighter complexion than I do, you will probably be able to tell a difference. Jumping into the second palette, this one is called That Glow. Now this one is definitely going to be more of a bronzy toned palette. Here are the swatches of the That Glow palette. From left to right, we have Sunburst, Golden Bronze, Bubbly, and Dripping in Gold. This palette is probably my personal favorite for my skin tone. All of the colors look amazing on me. I will say that some of these bronzier colors can kind of look similar on the skin. And then finally, we will discuss the Sun Dipped palette. Now this one is the newest palette that Anastasia released, and this one is definitely going to be for someone who likes a darker, more bronzy look. Here are the swatches of the Sun Dipped palette. From left to right, we have Bronzed, Summer, Tourmaline, and Moonstone. Moonstone. I think all four of these colors are very, very different, one next to the other, and even on the skin, I feel like you can definitely tell a difference. And here's a look at all three of the glow kits swatched next to each other. You can see the first grouping is Gleam, the second grouping is That Glow, and the third grouping is Sun Dipped. And while I don't think you necessarily need all of these palettes, because at the end of the day, when you sheer it out on your face, one color next to the other isn't going to look super different. I still wanted to give you guys an idea of exactly what colors you can expect to get from each of these three palettes. Now to discuss the texture of the powders in here. Now Anastasia does claim these to be more of a finely milled powder that's supposed to give you more of a sheerer wash of highlight. These do have a really, really thin consistency. It's thin, but it's still very pigmented. So it's not like the Jeffree Star Skin Frost. If you guys are familiar with those, you know how dense and buttery that texture is, and it makes it almost hard to pick up with a brush. The great thing about these is they're not thin in a bad way. They are thin in the perfect way that you can use a fan brush, you can use a dense brush, you can use any highlighter brush that you are used to using, and you can get all of these products to work. The texture of these almost reminds me of the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors, but these don't give you as much of a punch on your skin. However, with that being said, these can still be built up very quickly for a really strong glow. I'm actually really shocked that Anastasia claims these to be a subtle type of product, because these can get really intense. I love it. I'm all for it. The stronger and brighter the highlighter in my books, the better. But I think these are very, very versatile palettes. And I think if you guys haven't really given these a second look, I would maybe check it out. And in case you guys need more ideas of exactly what to do with these, remember that if you're kind of like a one highlighter type gal and you don't like playing around with a lot of different colors, these can be used all over the face. They can be used on the eyes or on your décolleté, on your body. Do whatever you want with these. Makeup has no rules. And I think for palettes that are relatively easy to find, these are all a permanent part of the Anastasia Beverly Hills makeup line. I think they're great. I really, really love them. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. In case you guys aren't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It would really mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video very soon. I'll see you then. Bye. You guys can probably tell the big trend with eyeshadow palettes are these kinds of reddish. The overall texture of all of the products in this palette is really soft and smooth and silky.